Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to be continuing Python lessons with a part 7. And this one is going to be about classes and objects and a little bit about files. So let's get started. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to learn about classes and objects. What are they? How do we use them? And the syntax for making them, and then some stuff about files like the creating or removing. So first, what is a class? A class is like a blueprint. So with a house blueprint, for example, let's take a house. With a house blueprint, you can make as many houses as you want, right? So classes work in the same way. Once you make a blueprint for a specific item, and in this case a house, you can duplicate it and change as many times as you want. You can also change some factors of it too, like the size, like the scale size. And you can make as many houses as you want from those blueprints. And then you can modify factors from each object separately so they're unique. An example is, let's say there's a car. A car, there are many brands of cars, and most cars have four wheels. Those are like, except for like the bigger cars, but like, yeah. An average car has four wheels. So we can make a class for cars and add the characteristics of like how many wheels, color, brand, price, or whatever, and then we can print those. And that's just an example. So here's the syntax. To create a class, you need to use the keyword class and then the class name, and then you put the two dots. I forgot what they were called. But okay, then you make two functions, and then you can make those functions do whatever they want in the class. So let's try this. So let's go to a test file. Okay. Now we can say class, let's say test. Now we can make two functions, and let's say two random ones. Hello and print print by. So now we have our two functions. Now, but okay, so every time you make functions in a class, you should always in the function parameters always add self in every function parameter. So this is because, let's say you say okay, let's say you make a variable in this one, x is equal to 1. Then, if you're using the self basically shares variables from, it basically like shares variables. You can make a variable in one function, and then you can use it in a different function. So now here you can say print x, and it will work. So let's test this. So now we created our class, right? Now we have to make a function. We have to make an object. Object is equal to class name test of, now we have to add our parameters or inputs. But because our blueprint has no characteristics, and this is not really a blueprint, do that. Then object, so that's the class name, dot, if you want to use any of these, you have to use dot hello. And then it would work. And then object dot by. So now let's test this. Python 3. So let's see. X, oh wait, yeah. So let's see. Let's just yeah. Python 3. So now let's say hello and bye, because So what we did here was made two functions that we can use, and yeah, we can use two functions. We can use two functions, and we can run each thing inside of those functions. And in this case, we ran hello and bye, which printed hello and bye. So this is an example of a class. So then now we have inheriting characteristics. So let's say we make there's two types of classes, a parent class and a child class. So a child can inherit similar characteristics of the parent class. For example, a two-story house has similar properties of a one-story house. They both have one story, but one has stairs and another one one has stairs and goes to another floor. Similarly, in classes and objects, you can have one class with a few same characteristics as another class. For example, a kid can have the same facial features as their parents, but they don't look exactly the same. The kid has inherited these characteristics from their parent. This can also be done in Python. So let's try this. Let's make a new test file. Let's see. Okay, so let's say class test, and then def let's say rent. I would say print random. Okay, now we have a random, just a function that's a random function. It doesn't even, it's like something random, and it just prints random. Then let's say class test 2. Now we go here, def random self and print random. So it's not the same thing. One is capital, one is not. But here we can go capital. So there's a difference. So and now we have two classes. So actually before we do parent and child class, we should go into init function. So the init function is used when you want to give every object of a class with a same characteristic. For example, let's say people, there's two people. They both have 2 eyes and 2 hands, because that's what normal people have, 2 hands and 2 eyes. So if we make a class about a person, we can use an init function to pre-make the fact that they have 2 eyes, 2 hands, and maybe 2 legs, 2 ears, or whatever. And we can use an init function for that. So let's say to make an init function, you have to go def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and then continue to making that. Then you can say x is equal to okay, let's make this people, about a person. Class test class person. This is our person class. So now we can say that a person, so we can define the init function. Okay. We can define the init function having hands is equal to 2, legs is equal to 2, eyes is equal to 2. What else? Ears is equal to 2, and so on. Now we have our init function with our thing, with our things that were related to a person. define, now let's say a person also has a name, right? You can say name is equal to, well, we don't know the name yet, but you can take input as name. You can have a name input, but we also have to add self. So name is equal to name. Then what else? Yeah. Now we have their name. Define, let's say, change name. Now we have a function to change the name. Change name. Now we need the self, obviously. And we also need the name we want to change it to. Let's say we want to change it to a name. Okay, any name. Then you can say self dot name is equal to name. So why I'm using self dot is because to make it easy to understand for the to like differentiate between what the variable name is and the variable in the function. So self dot just add self dot to all of these, and so now we have self dot hands equals that okay, and whatever. Now we can change the name whenever we want. Now this is the init function. This is how like it works. It predefines characteristics. But inheriting functions, let's say mammal. Wait, before we make the we'll just make the mammal class. Before let's say define init. Let's do the init function. Warm-blooded is equal to true. It's just that self dot warm-blooded is equal to true. And yeah, and then okay, that's just there. Now, if we use class person, if we want to inherit, you have to make it like a function and say mammal. So now class person will also have some warm-blooded because people are mammals. So if we inherit the function, if we inherit the class mammal, which has all the things related to mammals, we can put that instead of duplicating and putting into mammals and person. So this is one way to make it easy if you have multiple classes and a few classes have something to do with themselves. They're similar. So now here's an example. Car class. Let's go out of this. So now we have a car class file. Now we'll create a class. So now class car. Now we make an init function and self, and then we'll add more if necessary. Wheels is equal to 4. Then we'll have to create the brand, and we'll have to create the color. We'll have to add the color. What else? Anything else related to a car? Let's say mileage. What else? Related to cars. A type. SUV, whatever. So now in self, now we just have to add brand, color, mileage, and type. Now we just add these. now we have our init function. So all our things are pre-created when you make the thing. So when you make a class and you add an init function, it'll first go to the init function, even if you have a function above. Let's say there's a function here. And even though you have another function there, it will still run the init function first. So first it goes to the init function all the time. And then when you save, assuming that you say car, car1 is equal to car, which is the class. And when you make it, you have to add the brand, let's say Toyota. Next you have to add color, let's say red. Mileage, let's say 2,000 miles. And finally, type. Let's say sedan. We can even say SUV if you wanted, but okay. So this is our car. Now we have everything set, and we can make more function in the class car if we wanted to change these, because mileage might increase. You might wrap it to change the color, and yeah. And then, oh, what else? So you can also add seats. Seats is equal to self.seats. And up here, you can add another one to that. Now if we run this, we can see if there's any errors. Seats, oh, right. When we're going for here, we have to add one more, add seats. Let's say 5. Now we have all our arguments. Now, oh, that did not save. Okay. 5 seats. Car has no attribute brand. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. We have to add self dot. I added it in the wrong place. Okay. We added self dot for everything. And now we can remove the self dot on this side. Perfect. Okay, self dot brand. Okay, okay. Self.brand is equal to brand. Okay, so now let's try this. And it worked, but now in the car class, we should add a function to print. Print info. We can make a function printing each the wheels, brand, color, mileage, each one, but that's just about that. So that's the car class program. You can add another class. For example, you can make another class called like Toyota cars or like Honda cars and say what they have in common, or you can use that to do anything. And now we're gonna go into how to create a file. So to store everything, every program you write, you might use like an editor And yeah, but if you don't want to download an editor, you can use a on if you're on Mac, you can use something called Terminal, which has pre-installed ways to make files. So there's ways like VI, there is Cat, there's Nano, but the one I'm going to be showing you is VI. So it's really simple. You just go VI in your shell, VI and your file name dot py, signaling it's a Python file. So it's the name of your VI name of your file dot py, and then you can write your code into there. Then you can do many things in there, but there's many commands to like save, quit, or whatever, and then we can look into those. But now we're not going to be looking into those. We're going to see how to manipulate a file using shell commands. So creating a file is VI. That's one way to create a file. To remove the file, it's called rm file name dot py or whatever. Then it's copy from a file name from location 1 to location 2. That's to copy. Let's say you have two places you want to have, but you have one place, you have a file in one place, and you want to move that file into a different place, but you don't want to actually like move it. You want to keep it there. You want to keep it in both spots. You can use copy to copy it from there to there. So both of them are still there, except now you just copy the same thing. Yeah. So yeah. So then there's different types of files, like a text file, binary file, an image file. So when you download files on your computer, it sometimes says .jpeg, .png. That's an image file, and that's used to contain images. A text file is like the text file, the files we're making now with our code. And a binary file is when all your code that you wrote, but it's the same code, but it's in binary format, and that I will teach you. But that is highly used in a new language called Rust, which I'm going to be going into in the next video. So yeah, these are some types of files. So here now command line arguments. This is a very important concept. Let's make a new file. Okay, so let's say you want to make a command line argument instead of going raw input or input. You can say import sys. Now we have a new a library, import sys. Then now what you can say is x is equal to sys dot argv. That means arguments, and in these two brackets you can say which argument. It's, let's say, 1, and then print x. So the point here is when you're in the thing and it gives you these three, when you're here and you're typing and you say when it does, let's say it's just one second, yeah, it's like this, and then you start typing Python a file name and file name. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, and on and on. So there's different positions. This is argument 1, this is argument 2, this is 3, 4. So in this case, out of these, we're taking argument number 1. And whatever you write, let's say hello. X will be equal to hello because you put it in as that as argument 1, and that's your first argument. So basically, that's how it works. You can make it argument 2. You can take how many ever arguments you need, and then we can print it here. So now, when you say Python command line, then you can say hello, and it'll print you Python 3, and it'll just print you back hello. So that's the concept of command line, and you can use this concept to make code more interesting. So yeah, so here's a practice problem for you guys. So the problem is you have to use classes and objects to make a program that defines two objects about an employee's work and how much they get paid, their ID, everything about employees. Try your best and put your answers in the comments, and I will go over them if I can. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other new programming videos, and you can also to learn more later. And that's all for this video.